that squeaky chair again. Welcome back to another video. Today we are doing things a little bit differently. So for those of you who may or may not be wondering, this, as a matter of fact, this is going to be the aftermath for my gig this weekend. But I had such an amazing weekend, and the whole vibe of the whole entire weekend has just been so amazing and positive. I thought, rather than just doing the aftermath of the gig, let's just do an aftermath of the whole entire weekend, because it's been completely fantastic. It's been amazing. So we'll start as we always do. If we do like talk about weekends or anything, so I normally do like weekend antics, like if I don't have gigs and things. But this one is kind of like a weekend aftermath. So when we do the weekend antics, we obviously start with like the Friday, and then we move on to the Saturday, and then we move on to the Sunday. So obviously in the Saturday, that's where the gig aftermath will obviously come in, and that's where I've been obviously doing the gig. So Friday was a little bit of an interesting day for me, and it was the start of what was set to be a really enjoyable, amazing weekend. That I feel so blessed and grateful that I've had such an amazing weekend. So Friday, I was invited down to a small night that was taking place at a venue called Union Mashup on Princess Avenue in Hull. So a friend of mine called Dave, who I've had the pleasure of working with through my youth work, he was performing on this night with his band, and he actually invited me down and said, come and see us play. It's a free entry event, and there's also a DJ called Alex, who's DJing, and I also know who Alex is. So I thought, you know what, like I'm only gonna be sat at home, and I'm excited about my gig on the Saturday, so I'm only gonna be just sort of like bored and restless, and just waiting for time to pass to get to Saturday. So I thought it sounds like a real nice vibe. I've never seen him play in his band outside of work. He does things outside of work in a band, and he said there's a possibility of me possibly jumping on with this band and doing some things with them. So I'm looking forward to seeing out to seeing how that goes in that kind of sense as well. So sort of all Saturday daytime, I was sat at the computer on FL Studio. As you may or may not know, if you've not seen it, we did a live stream, and I showed you the track I was working on, and I've gone back and rewritten the first ever bounce remix that I ever sort of, it was the first ever bounce remix that I ever completely finished at the time, and it got put out as a free download. And obviously, I don't like to sound big-headed, but I've progressed a lot since then, and I've learned more. So I wanted to go back and revisit the idea of what I had with the original project, and just essentially make an even better project, if that makes sense. So I was doing that all day, and then I went down to the Union Mashup, where I've been to the venue once before. There was a little Makina rave that went on there about a year ago, and it was what can I say? It was it was most certainly a weird vibe in there when they put a Makina rave on, because there was kind of like a restaurant downstairs, and you've kind of got like Makina sounds going off upstairs, and you've got like MCs on the microphone, and you can kind of hear this rave going off, and then there's like and then people sat downstairs having an evening meal, and kind of sat in like a normal sort of like bar. And I don't think it was really essentially. I don't think it's the venue for necessarily putting a rave on as such, and especially not at like especially not at like 7 at night. You know, if you're going to have an event that starts at 7 at night, that is not really the place to put a rave on. You know, if you're going to go into some rave tunes a bit later on, I can understand, like, yeah, go through to some rave tunes a little bit later on. But I think when it's early doors and people are still having evening meals and it's not really gotten that time yet to really start livening things up, when you're in that kind of sort of area of of a street or like a town, or fair enough if you're in like an actual big nightclub and it's open early, that's kind of like a different thing. You're not above people eating, so that was weird. But when I went to it again on when I went to the same place again on Friday, the vibe was completely different. So Alex, who was DJing, did an absolutely splendid job. She was playing some like old school, like just chilled out disco tunes, and it created a really nice vibe just for sort of warming up for the band coming on. And there was nothing too dancey about it, but like you could groove to it, and it was kind of just nice for like arriving at the venue and just having a drink and that sort of thing. um and it just created like a really good vibe. And then it was a little quiet to start off with, and then sort of towards about 8:45 to 9, it started to fill up and people started to come in, and it got like fairly busy. And then the band came on. I think they came on a little bit later than they was originally gonna come on. I think there was like 10 minutes late or something, but it was all good in that sense. Um, and then I think they did about 4 tracks, which was really good. And Dave was on his saxophone, and there was the drummer was really good. The drummer did some really wicked break beats and like four to the floor beats, and um, just did some like really amazing stuff on the drums, and then the guitar and the bass players. Everybody in a lot of sense, that just all complemented each other really well. So the drummer worked really well with the guitarist, and then the bass worked well with the guitar and the drums, and then Dave just came on top really nicely, playing some really nice melodies on the saxophone. And it was just really good. And they handed out percussion as well, so people could grab like shakers and tambourines, and everybody could join in, which is that's a really good vibe in itself, when people can sort of get involved and have a little bit more of a laugh. It makes it more, it makes it more enjoyable for people as well. Being able to just like grab shakers and tambourines, and or bang on bongo drums and stuff, and just join in. And sometimes it's not necessarily all about just whether you've got this absolutely amazing tune, or you've got this amazing banger, or this amazing anthem. Sometimes it's about just having a nice bit of music that people can just have a good time and enjoy themselves and get involved and join in. You might have somebody in the audience that bangs on a bongo drum, and it might not sound completely in time, and it might sound off, and you might think, actually it sounds terrible and shit. But when you're in the vibe and you're in the moment and everyone's just having a good time, that's kind of what it's all about. So the band was absolutely fantastic. I absolutely loved them. It was a pleasure to get that opportunity to go and see him, and I was very blessed that David invited me to come down. I mean, it was a free entry thing anyway, but obviously, if he hadn't have mentioned it, like I wouldn't have known it was on. Because outside of worky kind of stuff, I get like I'm too sucked into like the rave stuff. So it's all about like the next rave for me when I'm not getting involved in the worky kind of stuff. And I'm getting to that point now where don't get me wrong, I love the rave stuff and I always will. But I do really like the worky kind of things, and I do like going to these like indie nights where there's a band on or where there's something a little bit different happening. And I do like doing worky things over the weekends as well. Really good vibes. So yeah, so once the band had finished, Alex came back on and started DJing again. Did some more like soulful disco stuff and went into some like old school tunes, and then went like really into some real nice house music, and sort of raved it up a bit towards the end, and went into some sort of like deep house, a little bit of tech house, a bit of bass line in there as well, and mixed up some absolutely amazing tunes, and just supplied a really good night, an absolutely fantastic night. So they're going to put another night on, and they want me to DJ it, so I'm going to be DJing the next night. So I'll be making a gig announcement about that when it comes up. Like, it'll be in a couple of months time, and like they do them like every so many months, so there'll be one like popping up. But I'll get information about it, and then obviously when I know about it, I'll be able to let you all know about it. It'll be a bit of a different vibe. It won't, if you've seen me at like raves and stuff, it'll be a bit different to that. I'll be spinning some house tunes, and I'll be spinning some good vibes, and it'll be a little bit different, but I'll be doing some really nice stuff. And like I say, when I know a little bit more, I'll obviously shed the information. So yeah, so Alex came back on and did like loads of different styles of just good vibe house music, and the night finished about midnight, which was kind of good, all right for me, because I am used to staying out a bit longer than midnight when it comes to nights out. But I knew that Saturday was going to be a busy day within itself, so I was kind of like, yeah, all right, leaving at midnight actually isn't it's not a bad idea at all. So we left at midnight. I went and over to a place called the Food Hub, and believe it or not, if you've not been to Hull, the actual takeaway sign, it's like a rip-off of the Pornhub logo, but it says the Food Hub. And there's been like a few like memes and like banters like shared on Facebook about this takeaway, like over the years, about it being called the Food Hub. And so, like, people have posted about it before in the past, and despite the name and the sign being a rip off of a porn site, it actually doesn't serve bad food. I got a large cheesy chips from there with a can of Coke, and I ain't gonna lie to you, they absolutely crammed the carton with the cheesy chips. They absolutely crammed it full, and it was when you say large, like, it really was a large, and I actually couldn't eat it all. It was crazy. I nearly did, but when you just can't do, you've tried and you're enjoying it, but you just can't do it no more. That's how I felt. So I think I got home probably about 1, 1:15, or something like that. It might have been a bit later, by the time I'd queued for food and then walked home. But yeah, I came home, I sat down, was still eating the chips a bit by then. I drank the can of Coke, and then sort of knew I had a busy day, so wandered up and headed up to bed. Set the alarm for 9 o'clock in the morning, and got up because on Saturday I was down at the Freedom Festival that was taking place in the city centre of Hull, and it was an absolutely amazing vibe. So there was loads of things going on. I didn't see everything that was going on. I was helping out at like with two tents, and I kind of just stuck to the two tents. I had a little wonder when I was like getting some dinner and stuff, but like I didn't. There was at Zebedee's Yard. There was like a big music stage in there, and there was doing all different things in there, and I just didn't get time to go in there, and I didn't really want to be honest. I was in that sort of I was happy where I was. I was enjoying the vibe where I was, and I just thought, it was, I'm just enjoying myself. I don't need to go off and really wonder about. But what I could see from sort of just through the gates, it looked amazing. It looked like they was having a really good time. But there was all sorts of things happening. There was people like in fancy dress that were coming by, and like there was marching bands, and there was all different like artwork, and there was, I think there was even like almost like little pantomime shows happening on that music stage as well. There was loads of different tents with like different brands and organizations that were that were like offering different things, and it was just a really really good vibe. And it was it was so amazing to see so many people like coming out into the city center, because obviously like city centers and like shopping areas that they've dropped in numbers over the years with the increase of online shopping, and people can get things online. So why do people bother coming all the way into the city centre when they can sit on the couch at home and add something to a basket, and order it, and and then it's here by the next day, and they haven't got the they haven't got the stress of having to carry it. They haven't got the thing, like, or a bus into town and then a bus back, or then you're gonna want to go and have something to eat. So obviously people don't, they don't come out and they don't go into town as much like they did. So when obviously the Freedom Festival was on, it was just so great to see the city centre packed, and people just coming out and getting involved there amongst the good vibes. So I was helping out at the Gig Buddies tent. So Gig Buddies, they're like an organisation that it's nearly been a year since I first went to one of their MenCap meetings, and it was suggested through work that I went to one of these meetings and just represented, like, where I'm from, and what I work for, that kind of thing, and just kind of in a way to show that where I work is supporting like the other organisations that that are obviously happening in the city, and just some good meetings to get involved with, and just a chance to sort of network a little bit. So I thought, all right, yeah, I'll go down to one of these meetings. I'll see what it's all about. And then I've kind of just gone from kind of just attending to sort of say, look, I work for Goodwin, to kind of like becoming part of the family, and to be kind of like becoming almost like not as such having a job with them, but like most certainly like becoming a big part of them, and helping out, and volunteering for them, and just doing some like extra things for them, because that's my enjoyment, like all of this, like this, since I've been doing this like youth work. It's been my biggest enjoyment. It's like really because I've always kind of thought to myself, like, outside of sort of like DJing and doing sort of like my own music stuff, like I felt like I've never been good at anything, like I've never really like fitted in. Like, yeah, I've done so many jobs, like working in factories, tip yards. I've done so many different things, and although like I enjoyed some of them, it just didn't feel like, there was always something. Like when I worked on the potato farm, they said they didn't want me back because it was like I was struggling with the lifting, and then when I was at the tip yard, for whatever reason, they didn't want me back, and I had that horrible boss. And I just feel like, whenever I've been doing things that haven't been music related, they haven't gone as well. Like, it just hasn't worked for me. And some people are built to be like bricklayers and joiners and plumbers, or factory workers. Some people are built to, to do different things. So I've always kind of thought, well, sort of DJing and stuff like that has been like the only thing that I've ever really felt like I'm good at, like, and like I can do something with it. But it's just like so hard as DJing to obviously earn a living out of it, that that you can't earn a living off of it really, like, It's a struggle, and you know, a lot of people that DJ probably never will earn a living off of it unless you're doing something absolutely, you know, amazingly different that you know you're gonna blow up and play every big show in the country. And you know, apart from that, like you know, you don't, you know, it's just you know, it's always like a hobby thing. So when I obviously started doing the youth work, I finally sort of started to feel like, you know what, I'm doing something here that I'm enjoying. I feel like I'm doing good at it. You know, and here I am, just over a year on, still in the youth work. So yeah, so I've gone from sort of just attending gig buddies to sort of represent who I work for, to kind of becoming a gig buddy. And it's sort of like, you know, being a big volunteer and being a big part of them. And you know, coming to a lot of their different meetings and attending what, you know, whatever's going on, to also becoming a part of the Sunflower Band and being a big part of Sunflower Music and helping them out and volunteering and gigging with them. And you know, it's all just been like a massive load of fun, and it's taken me definitely out of my comfort zone in a good way, but it's kind of given me a different path that is still music related, but it's not just rave related. So now, like you know, tapping on bongo drums and playing percussion stuff. You know, I'd have never probably done that before, and now I'm kind of like dabbling into doing, you know, sort of like different things, but at the same time, with my knowledge of like you know, this rave knowledge, I'm able to also still bring some of that sort of like rave knowledge into these sessions. They'll say like, you know, put, you know, like let's go on the launch pad and you know, let's do some house beats and stuff like that, and I'll jump on and you know, and I'm in my element going for it, and it's a really good vibe to see. So so I was obviously helping them out at the Freedom Festival, and we ran some music sessions yesterday, and there was like leaflets and stickers, just sort of telling people a bit about, you know, sort of what the organisation was, and obviously what we were. And there was quite a lot of people that came over to our tent, and you know, there was obviously very intrigued at what we sort of do. And there was quite a few people that wanted to know more about us. You know, they'd already heard like bits on the grapevine about gig buddies, and it was really great that, you know, the organization gets around so nicely. And you know, even if people don't fully know what we do, it's like, you know, they've heard of us, and that's obviously, you know, an amazing thing in itself. So it was really busy. The music sessions, it was me going on the iPads and making like house beats on the launch pad and like hip hop beats, and then people were like, well, they were invited to sort of like come and sit round in a circle on these chairs and play all these you know, bits of percussion, so like shakers, tambourines, all that kind of stuff. And then David come in with, you know, with his saxophones, and then David switch it up and make it like real fun. So like say like right when the volume dips, you know, we're gonna all play real quietly, and then Emily from Gig Buddy, she'd dip the volume on the Bluetooth speaker for the launch pad that I was doing, and then we'd all play real quiet, and then dip the volume back up, and then they'd play loud again, and then you know, like just really good fun vibes, you know, really fun, enjoyable vibes all day, which was really good. And then I left about 3:30, 4 o'clock. I think it was about 3:30, 4:45. And Dave was leaving. He offered to give me a lift. I said, "Oh, you know what? I'll take. You know, thank you. You know, I'll happily take the lift. You know, to come back home." And then it was all about getting ready for Humber Vibe. That was the, you know, the vibe that was going on last night. So I got home, had a quick freshen up, had a change of clothes, had a little bit of a chill on the bed actually, because you know, I felt like, whew, I need a little bit of a chill on the bed. And then sort of about just after 6 o'clock, I headed back out and went down to meet Prime, who I was going B to B with, a couple of his friends were coming to the event, so met him at the station. They came in on a bus, and then just essentially sort of started making a slow walk down to the venue. Obviously, the night didn't start while 6, but the place is open because it's like a pub as well, stroke a club, and there was like a football match on. So we went there, at least we could have a drink and stuff, so I could have a coke and stuff. And the promoters of the event, they was already in there, just setting the club decor up, and sound testing and all of that kind of stuff, and getting ready for the night. And then me and Prime started the night off with a B2B, playing a hardcore set, but we went for like a harder UK hardcore sound set. And I've got to say, like, it was a really fun set. It was a really really fun set. I'm a big sort of like, I prefer to play sets on my own, if I'm going to be completely honest, because I just feel like you've got more control, and you've only got yourself to think about. You're not thinking about what tunes your B2B partner's gonna drop. But the back to back that I did with Prime, it was just a really really good. The vibe of it was just an absolutely amazing vibe, and I just really enjoyed it. And there's some video, well, there's loads of videos actually. There's the most videos that I've ever had taken of me at an event, and the friends that Prime had brought along with him to the event, they literally took. I think it was Prime's phone, and they just took videos and pictures throughout the whole set. And I think they just about took a video of every track that we played. So like you could literally like you could literally like stitch all the videos together, and it would be like nearly full footage of like a whole set. It's just obviously like they're like 29 seconds, a minute long second like footages of like each song, and then it would like cut, and then it'd be another clip, and then it'd be like the next song, and stuff like that. But there was some really good top quality videos, and it captures like some of the drops in the tracks, and just the vibe. The only thing I am gonna say that was probably lacking within the videos, and this is only really if I had to say anything, like not that they didn't do like a really good job, because they did, and it was so great to have this footage. But if I was just to say one thing, like, and a lot of people do this as well, a lot of people do it, and it kind of drives me crazy, because I do wish more people would do it. But people take videos of like footage of like people like playing a set, but they never seem to take a video of like when the DJ's mixing in. So they always kind of like, I don't know, they take a video and it's like the breakdown of a track, and the DJ is not like on the mixer as such, and then they'll take like they'll take a video, and it'll be like the breakdown, and then it'll film like the drop, and then sort of like a little bit of the drop, and then the video will stop. Or sometimes you get some people and they'll film a video, and the next track's literally about to drop in, and they're about to double drop the bass, RT. And then literally like just before they're about, you're about to hear the mix in, the video cuts. And I've had that done with me before, and I think just film a little bit longer, and you'd have literally like caught, the actual mix, the two tracks mixing in on the video footage. But yeah, there was a couple of times where they did manage to catch it, but I just wish there was a little bit more of it. But other than that, it was really great to have that footage. So we actually did an hour and 15 minutes. We went on a little bit early, which was all right for us. It's obviously a bit quiet, because it's the first set, and people are just arriving, which kind of is annoying as well, because there's like people that say like like, oh, loving what you do and want to support you and stuff, and then like they'll literally turn up to an event at the end of your set, and I'm thinking like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you say you want to support and stuff like this, and then you come at the end, you come at the end of my set. And then they'll also like have to leave early because of like other reasons and childcare or whatever it may be, and then they'll be like, oh, I weren't really there long, and or like, oh, we want some of the cheese and stuff like that. And I play a lot of cheese normally. I mean, we went quite hard in this set, but normally I'll play a lot of cheese, and I'll play a lot of good sort of like cheesy vibe tunes. And they'll say like, oh, we want cheesy sets and stuff. And and sometimes I think like, well, you should have been here for the first set then, shouldn't you? You know, which is just crazy. But yeah, there's people, but you get that in music. There's people that say that they want to support you and say you're doing well, but they can't just be asked to come out like an hour earlier. To an event. Oh, I'm on at 8, but no, we'll book a taxi at 8:30 and get to the venue about 10 to 9. Just when you're about to come onto your second to last track. Do you know what I mean, or something like that? And it just always baffles me because then they'll still say like the next day online like, oh, we love what you do, we support you, blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, no, you don't. You don't care. You can't come out an hour earlier like to catch something. All those people that like clearly like are supposed to be your friends and they live in the same city, and they clearly just can't come out to an event and support you. Like, and I just think like, no, I ain't got the, I'm on my own level doing other things. Like, if you don't want to come, like don't come. Like, it just baffles me. It just baffles me. And I always think like why did they do it? Because I'm a different person. Like, if I'm seeing a friend doing well, I try and support them like the best that I can. And I'll go to events that they're playing at and support them. I won't sit there and say I support you all the way, I'm loving what you do, and then sit at home when they're playing a gig somewhere. And even especially when it's in the hometown. And you'd probably get into the event for free as well because the promoters and that kind of thing. Just absolutely crazy. But yeah, so we had a really good set anyway. It was completely different to what I ever thought it was going to be. We bounced off each other. Some of the drops were like really heavy. Wasn't like your normal Darren Styles hardcore. It was definitely, there was like some real heavy drops in there. It was like this new style of hardcore where it's just so much more heavier, but it's got a really good vibe to it. And some really great producers out there making some absolutely belting tracks and doing some really good stuff. So played the set, and then I more or less stayed for the majority of the night. I think I left about half an hour before the end. I was getting tired, and I was back at the Freedom Festival on Sunday again, which we're gonna get onto. But I also grabbed the mic for a little bit at Humber Vibe as well. Just had a little bit of a mic session. I don't always grab the mic that often, and grabbed the mic, did a little bit of MC, and there was some people there that hadn't heard me on the mic before, and some newer people that only know me for DJing, and like, oh, they didn't realize I could MC kind of thing. I didn't realize I did MC, and it was good. It was just a good vibe in that sense. Had a real little tiny B2B with Fergs on the mic, and then did some B2B with Sniper, and Prime jumped on the mic, and then CJ came back on the mic, and another person called Nicky Mack, he came and had a little go on the mic as well. He does a little bit of MCing as well. And it was just, like I say, it was a good vibe in that sense. And yeah, it was really enjoyable. And in that sense. So I left about 3:30, and I think sort of no, sorry, I left about 2:30. Sorry, the event finished at 3, so I left about 2:30. And this is where the annoying pain started. This is where the not so good part of the night became a thing. So I came out of the event, and I was quite hungry. You know, I hadn't really, to be honest, I hadn't really had any tea. I just grabbed a quick sandwich because I'd had such a busy day all in the moment. I'd had a bit of dinner. I'd had a chip butty at dinner, but we was all in the moment. So before the event, I just grabbed a quick Tesco meal deal sandwich because it was just at the time it was just the quickest and easiest thing to do. So obviously, you know, they're nice, but they don't fill you up, you know, really. And you know, I got a sandwich, crisps, and a drink, and the venue said, look, you know, you can't take the drink, you know, you can't have the crisps and drink in there. So I was like, all right, don't worry, I'll put it away in my bag. Don't worry, I'm not going to have it in the, not going to have it in the venue. Although I was tempted just to sort of sneak it out of my bag and have a wet of it, which I probably should have done while we was on the set, because no one would have seen it if I'd have just bobbed down under the decks and just got it out of the bag and had a little swig of the drink. But yeah, so I didn't really get anything to eat. So my next mission was kind of like, well, let's let's go to takeaway and grab something to eat, because obviously, you know, I'm starving at this point. And ever since COVID, for whatever reason, there's quite a lot of takeaways that they don't stay open that late anymore. It's like before COVID, it was like a lot of takeaways that stay open till like sort of like 3, 4 in the morning, and now sort of like since COVID, there's quite a lot of them that'll shut like round midnight, stroke 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm thinking like, like you just shut far too early nowadays, you know. That sort of thing. So the only place that I could think of was a place called Paragon Square, right near the train station, and you can sit inside there as well. They always stay open quite late, you see, because it's right in the centre of town, and sort of like, when people sort of, been out sort of around town, it's a good place where they can obviously just come and grab a bite to eat, and you can sit in, and they'll get a lot of drunk people there on the weekend, as they do. So I went there, and there was a massive queue. It was quite busy. Freedom Festival's been on. People have been out round the town. People have obviously got on it on the night, and they're all in there queuing up for food. Massive queue, and I queue for about 15 minutes, waiting in this sort of like big long queue to find out that they don't take card payments. And I've got an issue with my bank card at the moment, and I'm waiting for a new PIN number to come. So my only way of like, spending any money at the moment or making any payments is to use a contactless. I've had a big issue with the bank for months, and for whatever reason, essentially, if you don't know, if you're unaware, I lost my wallet a couple of weeks back. Well, a bit longer than that, and I lost at a bank because obviously I had a new bank card, changed the pin and everything, and the new bank card came, and the pin number had taken like ages to come, and it got to the point where the pin number hadn't come, and I was going to the bank, and I was obviously like taking money out from the bank, because when you get a new card, you've got to put the pin in first to activate the contactless. So at this point, I had to wait for the new pin to come. So it got to the point the card had come, gotten to be a little bit of a while, and I'd gone to take some money out, and I asked them at the bank. I just said, look, have you any estimates as to when this pin number will come? And they was like, oh, this pin number should have been here by now. You ordered the card like, a good week and a half ago now, or something like that. When your card came, or something like that. So there was like, something must have happened. I don't think it's gonna come. So they ordered me another PIN number, and with that they'd ordered me another PIN number, and then literally as I was walking home, my mum rang me up and said the postman's just been and your PIN number's arrived. So literally, like, I had this PIN number, so I activated it, and that was working to an extent, but for some reason I couldn't take money out of a cash machine, which was really weird. It was coming up with like an error message, and So essentially, I just at least like it seemed to work. Like if I did it in a shop, if I put it in and put the pin in a shop, it seemed to work. If I went to a cash point and tried to draw any money out, it was kind of like no, sorry, you haven't you haven't got a you're not able to do this for some reason. So then I went on holiday and everything, and this new pin number was obviously, in the order on the post. So I get back off holiday, the pin numbers come, and then obviously here's me thinking, right, the old pin number's gone, the new pin number's the thing. So I had the old pin number wrote down on my phone, and when the new one came, when the second new one came, I just deleted it and replaced it with a new one without even thinking. Went to try it, and for whatever reason, the pin number just wasn't working. It just for whatever reason, it just wasn't having it, and it got to the point where if I'd have like tried to put the new one in like another time, I would have been blocked out of the account. So I took the car, I went back to the bank and complained, and said, look, I'm having issues, and they've literally just sent me another PIN number. So I'm waiting for that to come. So my only way of paying for stuff is like by contactless, and then when the takeaway, like after queuing for 15 minutes, or we don't take, it's cash only. I was like, oh, for God's sake, are you actually having a joke? Are you telling me you're cash only? So I thought, well, the chicken place a couple of doors down is still open. Let's see if I can grab some at there. Went there and they said the same thing. Sorry, we're cash only. Luckily, I didn't have to queue for 15 minutes, so went to a place round the corner, and it's like another little place where you can sit inside. They was luckily still open. Was a little bit more expensive than what I originally planned. It was like so if you go to Paragon, it was like Doner meat and chips was like Doner meat and chips was like £6 for a medium, £7 for a large, and then round the corner it was like £7 for a medium and £8 for a large. So it was like I paid a quid more to essentially get a medium, where I could have paid a quid more at the Paragon and got a large. But luckily this place took a card payment, so I did get some food. Didn't get a drink because I still had the Lucasade bottle, and I felt hungry, and I felt like, well, that packet of crisps that I couldn't eat, I just felt like they're not going to do it for me. They're not going to fill me up enough. So I had this Doner meat, and it filled me up really nicely. So I got in probably about, I don't know, probably going up for 4. I would say by the time because I left about 3:30 from the nightclub, and then by the time I'd like ordered queued at that first place, then gone to the second place, and then gone to the third place and ordered and waited for food, and I sat in there and like ate a good portion of it in there, and then thought, I'm knackered, I'm gonna just start walking home. And then by the time you walked home and got home, it was probably going to be heading on towards 4, and then more or less went straight to bed, set the alarm for 9 again, woke up round 9, but just absolutely felt shattered, and I actually fell back to sleep and woke up about 11 o'clock and thought, oh, damn, Freedom Festival. And, I didn't have to be there. It wasn't like, you're going to, oh, naughty boy, you're going to get in trouble if you don't attend. Like, but it's all part of my work, and it's all part of what I enjoy doing. And I'd said to him, ay, 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 I got cramp. My leg literally cramped up. Oh man, that was right under there. I don't know, like, should I get cramp at 25 years old? I feel like that's kind of like an old person's thing. Yeah, so it wasn't like, like, oh, you must definitely be there, you're going to get fired. I work for Goodwin, I don't work for Gig Buddies, but it's all part, like, of my Goodwin work, like, to like support what they're doing to help out, and I love the Gig Buddies, like I said earlier. They've like really made me like a part of their family, and it's like a really good thing. I absolutely love them, love Emily and Laura to bits, and you know, the Gig Buddies family. So, you know, I wanted to help them out, and I obviously said I would. And you know, I woke up about 11, and I felt a bit tired, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna smash another day in, and the weather's glorious, and you know, so I went back there, and it was just a similar day to Saturday, but enjoyable vibes, you know, music sessions, telling people what we're about, that kind of thing, you know, enjoying the vibes and just having a good laugh. And yeah, we was there. I think we was there till about 6:30, 7:15, or something like that. And you know, the festival was finishing up, so I kind of thought, well, I'm not gonna be mean here. You know, I could have said, right, you know, I've got to shoot off, got to go home, you know, and left them, you know, to pack everything down. But I thought, no, do you know what? I'm not gonna be that person. Um, so I stayed like literally right until the bitter end, even to the point of helping Emily and Laura carry a bag, like a heavy bag, back to their car, because they hadn't opened the roads yet, you see, so we couldn't like bring a car around. So we had to kind of like walk with everything to a street that was not closed off for the festival. So it was, you know, like packing down big gazebo tents, and taking like tables and chairs back to a van, and you know, so some of it was obviously quite heavy stuff, and you know, I stuck it out to, you know, till until the bitter end, and I obviously just you know, obviously just helped them out. You know, I thought, you know, I ain't gonna leave them to pack everything down, and I've been a big part of the day, so it was only right that I helped them pack down. And then I think, like I say, about sort of about 6:30, 7:15. You know, maybe a little bit earlier than that, we was sort of finished up, and then I went and got some food, got some tea. Just decided to call in at the McDonald's. I wasn't really sure, sort of really where to go. But if anything, I was quite jiggered actually. I was just quite sort of like, you know, I want to go and sit down somewhere and just be able to have like a cup of tea as well. And I just felt, you know what, I don't want to just grab like a takeaway box and sort of eat it on foot. And then I knew obviously the Paragon wouldn't take a card payment, and then I thought, well, where else am I gonna go? And places like Couplands are shut by then, so it's not really as if you can go there. And I didn't really fancy the chippy because again, like, you know, no, you're not sitting down, and you know, you're not, you know, you've sort of got to carry it and walk while you're eating. And I just kind of thought, nah. So I just thought, I'm just gonna go to Mackey's and, you know, just order. I wasn't like mega starving. I did grab a bit of lunch, but I just thought I'm just gonna grab something because I'm just absolutely just. I was just ready to sit down, and I just thought, you know, before I tackle sort of like walking home, I just thought I need to have like something. And I think it was a cup of tea mainly at that point. You know, just sit down and have a drink. But I thought, you know, I could eat something, so I thought, you know, I'll eat now and then it's out of the way and done. And you're not coming home and thinking, right, you know, what am I going to have, or what am I going to do? And then, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, so I'll go back out and go to a, you know, to a takeaway or something. Like, I just didn't know, so I just thought, you know, I'll just sit in the Mackies, and you know, I could have a drink. And so I did. But then, if anything, that actually kind of made me feel worse, because I kind of feel like, you know, I maybe shouldn't have like stopped until I'd got home, like just carried on and carried on walking until I'd got home. But because I sort of like sat down in Mackie's for a bit, and just sort of sat and looked at my phone for a bit, and you know, like my body sort of got a little bit of a chance to rest. And you know, you just sort of got into that chilled out mode, and then you stand back up, and then you set off and you start walking home, and you think like, oh god, Like, you know, I kind of wish I hadn't sat down now and you know, like ate and chilled out. Like now, I wouldn't want to go back out and start walking somewhere. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So I walked home. So, yeah. So what an amazing weekend it's been. Like I say, full of good vibes from going to the little event on the Friday night to the gig on Saturday to everything I've done at the Freedom Festival. And I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that supported me, you know, on the for the gig side of things, and everyone that came and rocked out to myself and Prime's set. And I want to give especially a massive thank you to everybody that has given me all the opportunities through my youth work, and all the people that I get the chance to you know to get involved with, and you know all the different projects that I get to be a part of, and everything that obviously you know, and everything that obviously just fits the theme for me in you know in what I love doing. And I've come to realize that this youth kind of stuff, when you know, whether I'm in the music studio, whether I'm down at the music lab, whether I'm down doing something with the gig buddies, or having a session with the Sunflower Band, you know, that is where I feel at home. And you know, outside of my DJing side of things, you know, I think you know, I mean, you know, you can never be certain like how your life's gonna pan out, and how your life's gonna go. And obviously, like a lot of like youth work, you know, it's funded, you know, it's funded work, and you know, projects and things can come to an end, and you know, funding can obviously sadly come to an end. And you know, you can come to a point where you know you're working somewhere, and you know, and the funding can come to an end, and you know the job could, you know, potentially come to an end. But I do hope that you know, whatever happens in life, that I can kind of, you know, stay in the youth community. You know, I hope like I can sort of like, you know, if one project comes to an end, I hope there's a chance that you know I can do some work and get involved into you know, another project or something like that. Or you know, even if I have to maybe start working you know for a different organization or whatever it may be. I just hope there's always going to be something youth wise, you know, for a good while, until I sort of think, right, my youth days are over. You know, like work wise. You know, I'm just hoping that I can always, I mean, hopefully, you know, the current job that I'm in doesn't you know, come to an end yet. I know my contract it's due to end. I think November, but it's just obviously, you know, you can't always be sure that it can get refunded. There's always chances that they'll refund it, but you can just never be certain. And obviously, it's that upsetting sort of dreadful feeling that look, this might come to an end. So, but yeah, but going back to it, it's been an amazing weekend. Big ups to everyone. We've done a big long stream, so I am gonna leave it here. So make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share, and we'll see you next time.